The Buffalo Bills are coming to Washington to face off against the Commanders this Sunday, and we've got your game preview with Muki Hawkins from the Bleav in Bills. Let's go. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to your game preview here on Ref the District. I'm Nathan Perry. That's the Stoner. We are a part of the Bleav Network. And Stoner, I was the lone wolf on Wednesday that believed in Washington to beat the Bills. We're going to have Muki Hawkins on here in a little bit to talk to us from that Bill side. Has your opinion changed at all since Wednesday?
I think it might have a little bit just because of the weather situation now that we've got this tropical cyclone, which, by the way, I don't understand what a tropical cyclone is as opposed to a hurricane or tropical storm. A point for another.
Forget tropical depression. There's another one in there. Yeah.
Whatever. It's going to be raining. How's that? And possibly windy as well, or at least it's going to be sloggy. So I think it has changed a little bit. I think it's going to come down to more or less the rushing attack for Washington and the rushing attack for Buffalo. They're going to have to really be on their game, and they got to hold on to the football. It's going to be a wet football. It's going to be a slimy football. Make sure you hang on to it. So, yeah, I'm leaning a little bit more towards Commanders, but I don't think I'm going to pick them. I don't think I'm going to change my pick. But because Buffalo has a good rushing game as well. I mean, James Cook is 4th or 5th in the league in rushing already.
Yeah, he had a big game last week against Las Vegas. Maybe he replicates that this week. We'll have to find out. And maybe Muki here has the answer for us. Welcome to Ref the District. This is Muki Hawkins, the sports director for Power 96.5 FM. That's WUFO at 1080 AM. Muki, thanks for joining us here on Ref the District. Stoners let me down with the applause, so I'll hit you with the applause there. And Muki, thanks for thanks for joining us. Coming here from the Bills side, Bills beat reporter, very in tune. It's been a pretty good few years here for Buffalo. Washington hasn't experienced that kind of success in a while. What do you really attribute to the success that the Buffalo Bills have been having over the last few years?
Well, first and foremost, it boils down to ownership, recognizing, what, this team needs as a coach and finding that right guy. Obviously, they did have the hiccup experience with Rex Ryan. They learned from that, and they brought in Sean McDermott, and Sean McDermott has been nothing but a blessing for the city of Buffalo, and he changed the culture in this team. As you can see now, we are a consistent contender.
I've been a big fan of Josh Allen from afar. We try not to be too big of fans of non-commanders, but he had a run there of a few years just were fantastic, and he just kept getting better and better and better. Last year, maybe a little down, but still, top of his game or whatever. Do you attribute that down year that he had? And again, I use air quotes for down year. Do you attribute that to Daboll going to the Giants and not having him, or was that just kind of an up and down like every player has?
Yeah, I'll say I would lean more towards the Daboll thing because, Coach Daboll was all that Josh Allen knew, and it's, you can say what you want to say, but at the end of the day, it's definitely going to have some ups and downs when that guy is not around, So, yeah, you can attribute that, because Daboll basically knew how to protect Josh from himself. And, that was something that, I guess Ken Dorsey had to, experience on his own being the first time play caller, even though Dorsey was the quarterback's coach here, but, it's different when you're the actual play caller. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be some growing pains, in that regard. But again, too, when teams are not going to keep allowing you to throw the ball all over the yard and they go into that cover 2 shell, and then, hey, we know Josh is one of the top competitors and the biggest critic. He's going to, it's going to work. It's going to work. But teams are not going to allow you to do it. And, that where you probably saw, I guess you could say, some regression at some phases of Josh's, game of last season, more or less of the turnovers in the red zone. He hasn't even turned the red zone. He never had a red zone interception the first 5 years of his career.
Wow.
Last year, he led the league in turnovers inside the red zone. So, yeah, there was some regressions there. But again, yeah, I would contribute that for Dable leaving.
Well, on the other side of the ball, Eric Bieniemy had some high praise for Matt Milano. There's quite a few different names there on the Bills side of the house for the defense, and they have been impressive in their own right. I mean, you guys have to keep up with Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City there. What has been fueling the defensive success?
Well, it's just the mantra of Coach McDermott again. Him, coming in, being the head coach, he got it for being a hell of a defensive coordinator in Carolina, led those guys to a Super Bowl, obviously with Luke Kuechly and those guys. And hey, defense definitely wins championships, right? So he brought in guys. You look at the first free agents he brought in was Poyer and High. His first draft pick was Trey White. So you want to shore up that back end. Right now, the Bills secondary is probably top 5 in the NFL right now with those guys. They revamped the defensive line. I definitely like what they done up front by bringing in Leonard Floyd, Poona Ford. You have Greg Rousseau, who's now in his 3rd year. You have AJ Epinesa, who's now flourishing as his draft status, picked him to be in the 2nd round, and he was projected to go on the 1st. So I think all in all, this Bills defensive front, they're nicely seasoned. They don't have Tremaine Edmonds, the man down the middle, no more, but we do have our pro linebacker Matt Milano, who's Beastmaster Matt, I like to call him.
How's Tim Settle doing it? I mean, he's a former command. Well, I guess he was probably a former
Washington
Redskin
football team,
or football team. But he was a backup for us, and this town went crazy when he signed with Buffalo and decided to leave here. But he was just a backup. But he's kind of settled in a backup role up there. Is he just kind of a guy there, or is he doing some things?
Oh, he's definitely doing some things. And when the Bills have quite as cap, I think the Bills have probably one of the top defensive line units in the NFL. I mean, when you look at it, this is going to be a great matchup this week because the Washington defensive line is up there as well. I mean, pick your poison when it comes between those two defensive fronts. But Tim Settle, Poona Ford, Daquan Jones, Jordan Phillips, Shaq Rawson, and Oliver. I mean, the list goes on and on. And we ain't even, Von Miller will be ready sometime, in the near future. But yeah, I think that this is well seasoned. It was Tim's first year here in Buffalo. We dealt with the ebbs and flows of the game and the new scheme of things, and now he's refreshed. He's familiar. He knows what the defensive line coach Eric Washington is expecting out of him. And right now, there's no more thinking. With Tim Settle, he's just going out there playing his normal self, his jubilant pinwing self. So yeah.
He's definitely a personality. I have to say I'm disappointing you both for not using the obvious he's settling in.
Yeah,
but it was right there. It was right there. Now, you brought up the defensive line for Washington. What is something from our side of the ball, Washington's side of the ball, that's going to give problems for Buffalo, either offense or defense?
Let's just start on the defensive side. Are you kidding me? I mean, are you really kidding me now? We got Sweat, you got Young, you got Allen, you got Payne. I mean, that list right there is just give me nightmares. And I'm not even the quarterback. Offense. So it's definitely going to be some matchups. And one matchup I definitely want to see is off the edge. We got Spitzer Brown going up against Sweat and Chase Young. That's going to be a matchup to you want to pinpoint. And Osiris Torrance versus Deron Payne. That's going to be a pivotal matchup as well that I like to see in the trenches. But it's going to be that type of game. The weather is going to obviously play a factor in it.
Yeah,
where the trenches is definitely going to be very, very, very important on Sunday.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering what you thought about the weather and how it's going to affect the Bills' offense, because that's a high-powered offense, obviously, with Josh Allen, Diggs, Gabe Davis, the 2 tight ends that we like to make fun of them a little bit. And when I say we, I mean me, just because of their names. How should we be afraid of a guy named Dalton and Dawson? Those are not guys I would be really afraid of. But, I mean, they're talented tight ends, obviously. So if the rain does come and it is a kind of a sloggy field, what should Washington be concerned about if you can't do the high-powered outside weapons?
Well, I mean, the Bills did establish, a ground game last week, and that brought some great balance to this explosive offense. And if the Bills are able to continue to play that way, it's going to be a lot of problems for a lot of defenses out there because if you're not stopping this Bills ground game, we do have 17 back there, and he can throw that ball all over the yard, no matter the weather, whatever the case may be. Josh Allen definitely has the arm strength to make any throws in any type of weather. I Bleav being here in Buffalo, playing in Wyoming, where the weather is kind of similar.
Yeah.
So I think if the Bills can establish a ground game, and they're going to have to establish a ground game because obviously the weather is going to slow the game down. So if they can pick up where they left off, if James Cook could, hey, rack off another 100-yard performance, and then you got Damian Harris, and then you got Latavius Murray. I think this is a perfect type of game, for this running back group to, definitely play a great part in this matchup. So if the Bills can, get some things going onto the ground, then obviously, you never know what that run action, that play action is going to really look like. But if they do be able to, get some good runs going on, then obviously that play action is coming. So it's going to be really interesting to see if the Bills can do that, starting the game off with running the ball.
Now, on the offensive passing attack, there was a lot of discourse in the offseason around Stephon Diggs and his happiness with the team and everything. It looks like much ado about nothing now that he's got 17 receptions for 168 yards. What is it like having put that behind as the season's, started in 2 games? He's already been quite the impact.
Well, Stephon Diggs, we all know that Steph is an ultimate cryptologist. I said it to him last year, on the presser. He's a cryptologist, right? He's always putting up these cryptic tweets and stuff like that, and leaving people to read in between the lines and speculate, whatever the case. Us as media, we'll take what somebody said and we run with it. It's not coming directly out of Stephon Diggs' mouth, and we know Stephon Diggs don't have a problem with voicing his opinion. Not one time did he say trade me. Not one time did he ever say trade me. He just left it out there for everybody else to take it and run with it. I mean, let's be quite clear. Trading where? Where is he going to go where he has a quarterback in Josh Allen? Where is he going to go where he's going to be able to contend for a Super Bowl? So he understands the dynamic and where he is, and where is he going to go where he's going to get 100 catches every year since he's been here. So it wasn't that. It's just, I feel that in certain situations, in certain moments of football games and clutch moments, you definitely should find a way to get your best guys the ball in their hands. And sometimes that didn't happen. And, it could lead to some frustration to where he's going to voice his opinion. And the way it came out, it just came out how it came out. Maybe the front office didn't like, what he said, and they were in their feelings. They was all in their feelings that one day when, coach said he's not here when he was here, so that's that water weird. Under the bridge. It's water under the bridge, and they here still playing ball and trying to reach the common goal of getting to a Super Bowl.
So you're talking a little bit about Josh Allen, and it took a while for Buffalo to finally find their quarterback, and they did, obviously, in Josh Allen. Same here in Washington. Obviously, we've been forever trying to find a quarterback. Maybe we've got that guy in Sam Howell. From the outside, Mookie, does Washington have their future quarterback in Sam Howell?
You got Eric Bieniemy. I mean, when you got Eric Bieniemy, he's going to make sure the quarterback is in position to thrive, to make better decisions and things of that nature. So, I know a lot of people were scratching their head when they just automatically named Sam Howell the starter early on in preseason. But, Coach Bieniemy knows what he knows, and he likes what he likes, and he know what Sam Howell can do within his offense and scheme of things. And you're definitely seeing that right now. Washington, y'all 2-0. And last year, you guys struggled with closing out the games. Y'all was right there, but y'all just some strange reason you just couldn't close out a ball game. Now with Eric Bieniemy, that's not a problem. Y'all can come from behind and close out a ball game. Obviously, that has happened already. So, Sam Howell can definitely, be a guy, that could be in Washington for quite a while if, he keep doing what he's doing. He keep, running the offense, managing. We're not asking Sam Howell to be Patrick Mahomes, right?
Right.
Eric Bieniemy understands he just needs Howell to be a game manager. And you can be an elite game manager as well as an elite passer, but I'd rather take the elite game manager and such, because he has some great pieces around him that it doesn't really have to rely on him to win the ball game.
So what happens if Bieniemy goes and gets to be a head coach somewhere next year, like he deserves, and Sam Howell's still here? Is it all downhill for Sam then, or has he instilled all that in him and hopefully he keeps it?
Yeah, we'll see how much he absorbs from Coach Bieniemy, and who that's from Bieniemy's point of view stays on in Washington if that happens. I spoke with Von Miller Wednesday in the locker room about Eric Bieniemy, and Von had the opportunity of bumping heads with Kansas City twice a year when he was in Denver. So he had nothing but high praises for Coach EB. I love the guy. When I interviewed him in the Super Bowl, and I asked him back then, about those coaching opportunities that was mimicking back then, and he told me, when the right time comes, it'll come. And then during the combine this year, he was crossing the street. Him and Ron Rivera is a good friend of mine as well. And I said, hey, the time came. And he said, yeah, I'm in a great spot. I'm happy, and I'm really excited about this season. So you see the transformation. Look how Kansas City is right now. That offense isn't looking that great with Bieniemy not being there. And you see the success that Washington is having offensively rather than how the offense was last year. So I don't know. I don't put the cart before the horse. I think
right.
I think EB is going to be here. Maybe Ron Rivera might step aside and let things go. I don't think Washington's going to let EB just get out of there that damn easy.
That's true.
There's certainly a lot of fans hoping for that one, Mookie. Now, you brought up not being able to close out games. It was surprising that in week 1, the Buffalo Bills weren't able to close out the Jets without Aaron Rodgers. So maybe Sam Howell and Eric Bieniemy can maybe replicate some of that success and come and host the Buffalo Bills and win. What do they have to do to make that happen?
I don't know. With that Jets situation, I was saying before all summer, leading up to the game, that this is a game versus hype versus continuity. And in that game, you saw hype overpower the continuity. That's all to me. That's all it was. I don't see the Jets beating the Bills mid-season. So I was saying that the Jets was going to beat the Bills week 1 just because of the hype of it,
Yeah. That's what happened.
The hype won.
Yeah.
The hype overshadowed it. You're going to see a different Bills team next time around against the Jets, obviously, because Aaron Rodgers won't be the quarterback. But that's where I love it at air. But again, Sam Howell, you got Eric Bieniemy, who knows this Buffalo Bills defense. He knows the tendency. He knows the players. A little smoke screen that he praised Matt Milano about. I know good damn well he's going to be trying to isolate Matt Milano. He's going to try to make him cover guys. I know that was a super duper smoke screen to try to put my guy Matt Milano to sleep with all those good praises. And knowing good darn well he's going to try to match him up with a tight end. He's going to try to match him up with running back and all that good stuff. So that was good sound bites by Coach EB. But he's a mastermind. He understands his Bills defense, and he's going to find ways to manipulate that front. He's going to find ways to keep the sticks moving and keep this high-powered offense off the field. He knows this Bills team, so it's definitely going to be a great battle of the minds on Sunday.
Time to put you on the spot, Mookie. Do your Buffalo Bills come into Washington on a rain-soaked, weather, wind-blowing Sunday afternoon in Landover, Maryland? Do they come in and beat Washington?
Game's going to be close. But I do believe that the Bills is going to come pull it out. It's going to be a very, very close game. It may come down to, hey, Josh Allen pulling out that last-minute drive. I say Bills 27, Washington 23.
Interesting.
That's at least getting Washington to cover it. We'll see how it goes down on Sunday. We'll be streaming our live play-by-play and commentary. Mookie, where can people find you and your content?
You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. I even opened up a Snapchat account the other day. So it's WUFO Sports, at WUFO Sports. That's WUFO Sports. Muki Hawkins, MUKIHAWKINS. Go Bills.
All right. Thanks, Mookie, here for joining us on our game preview of the Buffalo Bills going up against the Washington Commanders. I'm Nathan Perry. That's the Stoner. And until next time,
we're beating Buffalo. I'm sorry.
Be a fan.
Gotta believe, baby.